in physical reality. You're not gonna be open to me if you don't feel heard and understood that I get that I stepped on your foot. Now I'll tell you what happens if we do that well and you feel heard and understood. You know what's going to happen the next day? You're going to come back to me and say, did you step on my foot really, or did that bottle really do it? Right? Then the truth is going to come out about the facts. Couples come in here, and in the first session, I let them talk for 30 minutes, and I let them tell me their story. The story is always the same. The story is, I say this, and he doesn't hear me. And then he says, well, I didn't do this. And she says, well, yes, you did. It's always the same story. Always, always, always the same story. They do not slow down enough to hear what's bothering each other because it's painful to admit that I stepped on your foot. It's painful to admit as a human that I'm flawed, that I made a mistake. It's hard to do that. And that's the skill that they have to learn.
Okay, so the question is, do you also do online sessions? I know you do sessions there at your location, but do you also do online sessions?
Half the sessions are online. I do them just like this. I work with the couple. Sometimes couples, it's very interesting. What's happened a couple times in the last couple of years, couples will fly in to see me for a weekend or drive long distance. And that's really effective. And then we do online for the next 6 months. And then sometimes they take a vacation here in Northern California and we see each other again. But it's been very effective to have couples that, were boyfriend, girlfriend having problems, and they've led all the way to marriage just from doing this and working online like this.
So they can just take online. They don't have to come. Okay, so with that being said, the punchline to that question is, how do you feel about online dating relationships? Good, bad, what?
Well, the other thing that I have, if you go to the website, theunderstandeachother.com, on the main page there, you'll actually see a listing of what I teach in this women's group. And I'll tell you, about 75, 80% of the women are working with online dating. And it is unbelievable the support that they're giving each other in the private Facebook group that we all share together. And what they do is they actually share text messages that they have with the guy. And I help the women determine whether they have a guy that has some confidence, that is actually truly engaging and wanting to connect with a real woman, or if he's going through 100 women a day just swiping left and swiping right, and if he's taking it seriously. So the women will start interacting with a guy, and I'll have to tell them he's doing minimal texting back to you. And I help them see this over and over and over, that how to recognize a man that's actually available for something real. So that's an amazing part of the group, where the women are making real shifts, and they're not spending 6 weeks getting their heart broken. They're actually learning sometimes, literally, before a first date, that if they engage with this man, they will probably be let down.
Okay, and as we're winding down, I also wanted to ask you about this joint accounts. I know that's a big controversy, at least in my sphere of influence, is with joint accounts. How do you feel about joint accounts in relationships? Bank accounts, that is, sorry.
It's very interesting. I talk about money a lot. It comes back to the communication. I have this one couple where they share an account, and it's very interesting. For years and years and years, she's actually held in some frustration because he's in total control of it. He puts the money. He's the breadwinner. He puts the money in, and he watches and kind of criticizes her for what she spends. So in that scenario, the joint account was kind of theoretically good, But it comes back to the communication. Whether you have a joint account or not, do you make financial decisions and hide them from your partner? I have couples coming to me where the woman actually is paying me privately because she's too afraid to tell him that she's getting help about the relationship, right? So it comes down to that. But a couple that communicates beautifully about what the joint account is used for, ironically, I think doesn't even need a joint account, right? If they're on the same page and can communicate about how they spend money and actually look at a ledger every month and a credit card statement and decide together how that works, that is no different of an argument than an argument about jealousy. It's the same.
Okay, and as we're winding down, I do want to ask you, we always like to know, do you know any shocking statistics maybe in the relationship world that we should know about? Any red flags, warning sign, do's and don'ts, anything of that nature?
Take a good look at your sex life. And if you are having sex once a week, that is superb. And if you're having sex once a month or less, that is something that almost always heads towards divorce. Okay, so the statistic that frightens me the most about couples is that they don't get help. It's human nature that you don't go to the doctor until you're kind of bleeding out of your arm, right? We all kind of wait as long as we wait. But couples, I have 5 to 7% of couples come see me when they're not in pain because they want to build a relationship and they want to get married and they want to do well. It's a lot easier for people to sell us cough syrup than sell us vitamins, right? Right. So it's a lot easier for couples to show up when they're in agonizing pain. If you have a conversation that actually never completes and you both are not in sync and in tune with each other, that is the biggest thing that happens in relationships. That is the cause for breaking up and divorces. Yeah.
Last question, and then I'll pass it over to you to see if you have any final words.
Sure.
Domestic abuse.
Uh-huh.
I know it comes in your office, right? Comes down your pipeline. What's your take on it? Is it something where they can overcome it, or is it something that it's probably going to continuously happen?
This has often happened with men being very, very abusive. I actually will refer people elsewhere if there's actually been hitting. Believe it or not, when there's actually been hitting both ways, I will stay and hang in there with the couple. When there's not such a huge power differential, and that woman feels the absolute right to haul off and slug the man in the face, and she hits him harder than he hits her, it's a really odd thing. I've actually seen couples all the way through that, and I've done that successfully. But if it's a power over thing and the man is being far too emotionally abusive and she's in a bit of a syndrome, to where she's behaving all the ways an abused woman behaves, that's very hard to change. And it's a long road ahead for him to do anger management and get honest about that problem. And it's a long road ahead for her to heal why she picks this kind of man. And in that case, a lot of times it would be wonderful if they separate, even if temporarily, to get a handle on their own private therapy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is, as you already know, this is Derek Hart over at understandeachother.com. Derek, sometimes I get excited and I cut my guest off from a finished thought, or sometimes maybe you have a final message that you would like to share with the audience in regards to summing everything up and leaving that last footprint. Now's that time. Do you have anything that you would like to share with us at this time?
Sure. If you're in a coupled relationship and your relationship is going kind of mediocre at best, get help. Find help. You can go to my website. You can send me an email. I can help a lot. Or find somebody in your town if you want somebody that is in person for you. Actually, a service I provide sometimes is you can actually forward me the name of a counselor or therapist you want to work with, and I will interview them for you and help you determine if you're picking a good one. Because a therapist or a counselor that just sits back and listens to you and listens to your problems is not going to help. It's not enough. And the other thing is for women out there in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, every age. Actually, there's someone I think joining in their 70s. The women's group is incredibly healing. And some women in there are married, and some women in there, most of the women in there are dating. And the skill that they're learning with me is vulnerability, how to say the truth and get themselves out of messes quicker and quicker. They're not spending 3 months getting their hearts broken over and over. They're actually learning how to have and wait for the right kind of man to come in. And I am helping them detect when the emotionally available man with some strength and with a backbone is texting with them. And they're learning a lot. So it's an incredibly supportive group.
All right. And you're on social media as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where can we connect with you and follow you?
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and see some videos. Just look for my name, Derek Hart, DEREK HART. I believe I am the first one that pops up. You'll see a picture. I look just like me, and there's a YouTube channel there.
I look just like me.
I look pretty much just like this. You'll see me pop up first. And you can go to understandeachother.com and see some things there. At Facebook, I am under Derek Hart, DEREK HART. And everything I post is public, and I post things almost every day. And people follow there, and there's a string of comments. Sometimes there's hundreds of comments. And the learning for all of us is just incredible in these posts. And you'll see my articles on there. So that's just privately under Derek Hart.
All right. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Derek Hart from understandeachother.com. And this is the Billionaire Brown Experience. Till next time, continue to be.
Thanks, Billionaire.
Bad credit affects where you live, what you drive, and even your current or next job. With so many frustrating issues that happen in life, we can help you find relief. Text 480-358-7725 today. Not only will we fix your credit, but we will educate you so you can educate your family. Now back to your favorite podcast.